Alright, so I'm happy to announce that we've released version 1.1 of the automated character sheet. I have it up here on the screen. Wanted to go over a few things with you on it. The nice thing about the automated character sheet is that we had a gentleman by the name of Craig Ransom that did most of the heavy work on this. Built a really good automatic sheet. So, put a little click in the box, allows you to roll. You can now roll, and automatically we have all of our stuff generated. Things that are not automatically generated are, of course, things like the name, career field, hair, eye color, left and right handed, ethnicity, team number, what their role is within the team, freeze date, things like that that you're going to determine yourself. But most of the random roles are already taken care of for you. So right here it created a 29-year-old. It was already male. Here we go with the various different stats. 5'9", 136 pounds. A little on the scrawny side. From my point of view, put in the personality traits. Over here we have our various different equipment. You can add items in here as you want. Most of my teams in the playtest don't do the whole basic load. They just put their basic weapons and a few loadout items in here and the corresponding weights, and they are calculated for you. You also have armor here, so normally you have coveralls and boots. If you're going to armor up for everything else, you can add the tack vest, or not tack vest, but the vest, and head protection, helmet, and gloves here. So once you check those, the armor values will show up on the next page. So if you go to page 2, here we have the armor values. As you can see, right now the head and neck are not protected, but the coveralls protect most of the shoulders, not protecting your hands, of course. And here we go. Back to the first page. You can do a drop down. You can change your branch. Right now we've got operations. Operations are the supply chain, supply train type folks for the Morrow Project. They're the people that keep everything running in the background so that the recon teams and Mars teams and everybody can function the way they need to function. It's a simple drop down. You can create an agricultural team member, engineering, Mars. As you do that, the symbol is going to change. So there we have the Mars teams. I was getting ready to do an operations team member, hence the reason we're set on operations at the moment. Playtest group has run into a couple ops people, and so we have to generate some NPCs for them. I did some quick generation at the table, but on the back end I need to fill them out because they're going to be interacting with them for a while. One of the things that's changed in this newer version too is that we have earned skill points. So you have your historical skill points. These are the ones you get during character generation. So it's taking your reason score and all of that, and your age, and calculating things out and giving you a certain number of training points, which you then spend one for skill points to add to your skills. In game, you're going to acquire training points. You're going to spend those at the rate that you're allowed to spend them and roll for the amount of skill points that you're going to get to be able to add to your skills. Once you do that in the automated character sheet, you need a way to record them so that the sheet always balances out. So here's where you will put those. Edges and impediments, that's coming in the new thing. It's got education history for the character sheet, similar. You've got your portrait here. You can click on there and upload a picture. I have not. Will eventually. I do a lot of grab a picture off the internet and run through a quick filter to make some modifications to it and bring it up because I am not an artiste. So that's what I do for my games when I'm playing. Alright, so here we go. On the back, we've got our skills. You'll notice that we have our skill loadout here. These are all of your basic skills. These are skills that everybody has, no matter who they are. Culture own, language own, acrobatics, athletic, bargain, brawl, okay? If you got siblings, you learn to bargain. If bargain doesn't work, you learn to brawl. That's just the way it is. You climb on things as a kid, so you've got some basic skill in that. Navigate, you learn to find your way around the neighborhood, that sort of thing. Observe, how observant are you? Hey, he took my stuff. Here's observe. Now you may notice a code over here. This code is the same thing that's in the book. It says it's a basic skill. It's based on your awareness, and you have to specialize at 20%. So that's really all that code means there. That tells you what your task base is. The automated character sheet, as you can see here, fills in your task base for you automatically. It uses that code to determine which task base it needs to grab in order to be able to do that. And then, of course, you're going to put in your skill points, and it will calculate the total task percentage for you. In-game or post-game, when the project director awards you training points for successful things that you've done, you can keep them right here. In our games, a lot of the training points are task specific. So you did something that was particularly stealthy or did a good idea and stealth your way through it, I'll award a couple of training points at the end of game for that, and they go in stealth. So they can only be used to bring up stealth. We also have some generic ones, and there's a place at the bottom of the page to fill those in as well. The second set of skills here is your Morrow Project basic training. So you got communication, construction, drive, MPV, all of those sorts of things. Normally, for most teams, recon, Mars, science, engineering, agriculture, you name it, emergency medical, civil action teams, they're all going to have another set of skills here which are specific to their team training. Then below that, you're going to have your task skills, what your position is within the team. So if you're the team mechanic and you don't have mechanic maintenance or something anywhere else, it'll go in down here. If you're the scout and you've got some things in there that aren't covered anywhere above, they're going to go in here. None of the skills are duplicated. What happens if you receive multiple training? You'll see that stealth has a little asterisk or a star here. What that tells me is that not only did I have stealth naturally because it's a basic skill, but I also got some training in it during the Morrow Project basic training. So instead of adding it twice, we put a little asterisk here that indicates we've had extra training. So that's our automated character sheet. What it's going to do is calculate up all the skills. There's where your generic training points go. So if you just got a few generic points thrown at you, some PDs love to do that. They just give you 4 or 5 points per training. The last thing I wanted to show you right here is you'll see a number up here in the margin. That number is your remaining skill points that you can put different places. So as we start assigning skill points, you'll see that number decreases. Once that number goes to 0, you've spent all of your skill points and you're pretty much done at that point allocating points around. You can move them back around, but once the counter goes to 0, it will disappear. So if you're going to print out these sheets for use at the table, you won't see a 0 sitting up there once you've spent them all. As you earn points in game and you add them here, that total gets added to the total of skill points, and they show up down here at the bottom. So as you win a few and you add them to your skill, those numbers go up there and everything works out. That's pretty much it as a basic introduction to the automated character sheet. It does seem to work best in Adobe Acrobat. It was developed in a third-party application, but modified heavily in Adobe Acrobat, so the free Adobe Acrobat reader seems to handle it best. There are some others, Foxit, and a few others that seem to work pretty well. It does not work on my iPad, I'm sorry to say. I can bring the character sheets up. Once they're filled out and everything, I can bring them up on my iPad, and they look just fine with the Adobe product, but the calculations and things don't seem to work on the iOS platform. That's it.